been watching is some of the moves being made in terms of the Corporate Bank of Japan and what's happening with the ECB. They kept their interest rates the same as everybody with a brain knew they were going to do. Corporate Japan, though, the Corporate Bank of Japan is a whole different energy entirely, because I'm having a hard time discerning the difference between ETFs, or quote-unquote exchange-traded funds, and the quote-unquote Bank of Japan. Because the Bank of Japan is basically a massive investor in all the blue chips on the Nikkei, their organized gambling pit that they refer to as stock markets and foreign venues. So, given how they're battling zero inflation, given how they been dealing with deflation for so long, and they've made all types of moves that have, in effect, strengthened their quote-unquote currency that allegedly exists against other alleged currencies. So, as we said before, what they thought was going to be the experience turned out not to be the case. A strengthening only makes their products even more expensive, and they've been working for almost 40 Earth years to basically export their way out of economic trouble. However, again, when whimsical items are the primary thing that's being produced and exported or engaged in commerce with, folks can survive and not acquire your whimsical items. If all you're making is cameras and making computers and things of this nature, cell phones and stuff like this, as important as those things are for folks' convenience, folks can actually survive without them. Whimsical items are subject to fads, and fads are basically the fickle mindset of quote-unquote consumers. And if you're relying on consumer activity where there's little demand, the only reason why we even bother looking at any of that stuff, because it's all crap to us as far as we're concerned, as y'all know, we have to know what's happening with the quote-unquote silver price, because those things that I spoke on, as we speak on very often, they impact the buying power of the Amexem-Empire silver when we move to acquire things off of our fiscal budget laws. So that's the only reason why we even bother. I just know that the buying power of the Amexem-Empire Imperial Monetary Units is actually been steadily increasing as of late. With the weakening of the quote-unquote dollar and the rise in the quote-unquote oil price, which is inflationary, and let's face it, if you bought it in the store, there's going to be transportation costs, and with oil price going up for some, that's going to be inflationary. Inflation impacts the quote-unquote silver price, impacting the buying power of the Amexem-Moor-Empire Imperial Monetary Units, i.e. the silver that we do trade with. So all these things are relative to us, and we have to pay attention to them, so that when someone is a business owner in the Amexem-Empire, they can plan what they're going to be doing over the next few quarters based on the buying power of silver, intra and extra regnum. So we have things that we have to do for them, things we have to do for our budgetary engagements, so that we're getting the best for our nationals. And given the fact that we have to put equipment and material and supplies on 4 continents, never an inexpensive thing, we have to be mindful of things so that we can plan appropriately. And when you have so many folks that are depending on you making smart decisions, I'm in the middle of putting next year's fiscal budget proposal together. The Imperial Council will have their hands full when I present it in the fiscal budget proposal, and they will make the decision as to what shall be the next fiscal budget law. And we have to put forth that which is practical and sensible, intelligent. So I'm forward thinking. I can tell you, I've been looking to find ways where I can actually make cuts in particular things, while simultaneously being effective. I did so in the last budget process, And although the fiscal budget law that was set by the Imperial Council is large, it takes into account mostly housing. That is where the bulk of the funds in our fiscal budget laws go. And it will be the same in the coming fiscal budget law, housing and electrical power generation on our own terms. So seeing where the buying power is of our silver has relevance. And I know a lot of folks look at the budget and they see a bunch of items, a bunch of numbers. They have no idea what goes into what you see in a budget law. And I can tell you, it's no little thing. And knowing the buying power of platinum, gold, and silver is integral to what we have to do. So we have to study, even though that quote-unquote interest rate crap, which doesn't apply in our venue, doesn't impact us in a direct manner. It does impact the buying power, so in an indirect manner, it actually does. So we have to pay attention. It's as simple as that.